So next we have Ronald Dizon from Teofilo Coffee Company. Ron, thank you so much for being here. Please share a little bit more about you, your company, and the freedom that it brings you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Ruben and Daryl, and your guys' team. Thank you guys. We really appreciate what you guys are doing. Like you were asking, so yeah, Teofilo Coffee Company started in 2017, which is a simple story. Um, I've been in the automotive industry for over 20 plus years as test engineer. Worked for SpaceX, Faraday Future, Honda, Toyota, all these automotive companies, but I've always wanted to, um, you know, own my own business, and this was my opportunity to do it. 2017, my mom had mentioned about coffees in the Philippines, and like brain shrapnel was everywhere. I'm like, yo, well, like, what is this? Like, what Filipino coffee? So I spent a year, from 2017 to 2018, just like researching and before I say anything and before I do anything, um, just like as an engineer would, and come to find out, we've been in coffee for 284 years. Coffee's been in the Philippines since the 1740s. We're the largest supplier in coffee history, um, and we're just trying to continue that. That's all we're doing.
Mm, mm. So tell me more about that in terms of, obviously it's important that you provide representation for the Filipinos and Filipino culture. Tell me a little bit more about why that's so important to you, Ron. And what, I mean, obviously that I think that's what brings you freedom, creating this company, doing that.
Well, I think I'm already free, right? Like I'm in America, right? I'm pretty free. I mean, we have access to a lot of resources. It's just it's not gonna come to you. You got to search for it. But our people back home, and especially the people that we're trying to empower, right? These farmers is really what we're trying to like put our arms around, right? Like no one really respects the art. No one's really looking at like, okay, why does coffee cost so much? Well, let me tell you, like if you look at the supply chain, there's a human at the other end of this. The other human is actually cultivating this coffee, picking it by hand, and then drying it and processing it, and then putting it and sorting it, and then eventually ships to North America to where we can start producing it. And what I want them to feel is what I've been given. The people that came before us actually put us here to give this opportunity so we can pull the rest with us, right?
Yeah,
So as far as being free, I've been free.
yeah. I really love the message that again you're really trying to convey and to help empower those through the entire supply chain process. Again, from the people at the end to even people becoming distributors too. Again, in terms of your product too, it's you shared off screen of the rarity and the quantity of how much it actually supplies the world in terms of the coffee that you source and work with.
Yeah, and I like to talk about it like it's ours. Like it's not mine.
Hmm.
I mean, we're just a company that just it just makes the creates the awareness. Like, but it's
Hmm.
ours. It's all of ours, and it's either in our power to like create that awareness for people, or just to not. I mean, it's okay, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I see something different where the that old time or that that culture of the farmers, like no one really pays attention to like if we didn't have them, what do you think we'd be drinking right now, or what would we be eating right now, right? Like if we don't take care of them and look out for the next ones that come after them, what are we gonna
Mhm.
have? Are we gonna have just 284 years of coffee experience and that's it? Like I'm looking for like 300. I want to see a bigger number. I want to put us back where we were late 1800s, where we are the top suppliers again. That's what I want to see.
Excellent, awesome. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's very inspiring, and I'm sure that we'll have some questions during our Ask Us Anything portion of the show, which is next, Ron. So thank you so much. Sit tight. But we're gonna kick it off. So one of the things that I want to mention and I want to ask. So let's just start with Ron, because one of the things that I think of when I think of coffee, and who doesn't, right, is Starbucks, right? So the whole idea of Starbucks is that Howard Schultz always, I mean, that's just me. I'm educated now, Ron, but maybe I'm going to start to think of Teofilo, right? But
No, it's all good.
the point being is that, like, Howard Schultz went to Italy, right? Saw what was going on, and he brought it back to this to the United States, right? And that's kind of like how it all began, right? That's kind of how it helped. So, do you feel, Ron, that like a lot of obviously there's a history there, with coffee, 200 plus years, right? Just like there's a history of the Filipinos being here in uh, was it Monterey
Morro
Bay,
Bay,
Morro Bay,
Morro
you know what I
Bay,
mean? But
Louisiana. We've
yeah,
been
but the
here,
point
man. We've
being,
been
but
here.
the point being is that nobody was talking about it. No one was speaking out about it. So please, with that kind of parallel, please talk about exactly why that's the case. Why is it that we don't talk enough? Please, please help me understand.
Yeah, I don't think it's that we talk enough, but it's just we have to be the ones to say it, right? If we're gonna rely on a book to say it for us, what are
Mhm.
you waiting for? Like, if you know about it, say something. Like I told you, I was 37 when I found out there was coffee in the Philippines. Like, I'm telling everybody, I tell everyone this story. Like, I'm ashamed. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and ever since I found out, guess what I've been doing? I've been out on the streets telling everybody there's Filipino coffee, and it's still the same conversation with people. What's Filipino coffee? What makes Filipino coffee better?
Mhm.
Blah blah blah. I'm like, wait a second. Do you guys ask the same question to when you go to Terramia or you go to Starbucks or you go to other specialty coffee shops? 'Cause that kind of offends me a little bit because I mean I don't like. It's not that it's where it comes from. It's like, why would you ask that question?
Mhm.
It's almost like an offensive question when you ask, because they never ask it when they go to Starbucks. Does anyone ask? No, it's just Starbucks
Not.
coffee, right? So and when these other specialty coffee shops, I think the difference with our coffee, right, is that I'm Filipino born. We source it from our country, and we also import it from our country to roast it here to serve it to everybody.
Mhm.
Now, say if you go to a XYZ coffee company, do you think the owner is an origin from where it came from? Not that it matters. It doesn't have to matter, but I think it matters to us, right?
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
mean, and
Yeah.
and and to say that, are we talking about it or not? We're talking about it. Whether it's today, tomorrow, yesterday, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, we're we're only gonna get it out there if we actually bring it to the conversation. I mean, it's never too
Yeah,
late, right? It's never too late.
for
Yeah.
sure. And it's like it kind of reminded me of. So I had a client that had a coffee shop, Umaga Coffee
Oh yeah,
Shop
I
here
know
locally,
them. They
and I
were
saw
our
them on your
first
Instagram.
client. Yeah. No, we're like I said, we know a lot of these people and we help a lot of these people. And when I first started this company, no one wanted to help me because they thought it was a joke. And I was like,
Mm.
first of all, you don't know me, and I'm a immigrant. Like, we work harder than everybody else, man, to prove that we deserve to be here like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So true.
I,
So true.
I love what you said earlier, though, too, is that, there's enough room at the table of success, and it's really up to us to really just put in that effort. And I think the more that we're willing to help, just like you did with Umaga, again, it helped them, to have the confidence, and it empowered them to push out our culture. And I think, just like you said, you experienced Filipino coffee and at the age of 37. I was probably just, what, 3 years ago when I first had it. And I was like, this is super cool. It made me more proud to be a Filipino.
yeah, and I think it's just the pride in it, right? Like, I know when I explain it to people, like, when you drink our coffee, it it reminds you of home, right? Like, it's something you taste and you're like, man, I could smell it, I could taste it, like I'm home. You know what I mean? And if you haven't been there and you only know because the flavors that the coffees impart are things from the Philippines, like jackfruit, pineapple, mangoes, and even other vegetables that we have in the Philippines, like, and I don't know, it's just unique, right? And the world is so big, we only look at it like this. Like if and the world the definition, the world is so big, that means that we have enough for everybody to go get it. Like if everyone wants to start a coffee company, let's do it. Like I'm not stopping anybody. It's ours. It's ours. We got to
Yeah,
make it happen for our people. That's it.
100%. 100%. 100% agree. Since I think a lot of the theme here is, representation. Um, Ron, how do you suggest that we get people to know more about Filipino coffee? Because I honestly, I'm awoken myself, like just now, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm actually like, I'm shocked. This is like, like I feel like I should have known this. You know what I mean?
I mean, I felt the same way, or like I said, when I found out, I was like, man, I feel like a chump. Like, why didn't I know about this, right? And I don't know. I don't know how to explain like how you can do it, right? Other than trying it. And if it sucks, like I don't know, like I it's hard to say that it sucks because it's you just got to try it, like, and then be an advocate for it. Once you try it, I think it'll really like open your mind to like, damn, this is like if you look at it like the path it took to get here, then it kind of like opens your eyes to the product.
Mhm. Are you guys, do you sell the coffee off a website, like, or is it just distributed retail?
Yeah, so we sell it at our shop retail, at our shop like by bag and also like wholesale, and then we sell drinks and other Filipino like infused drinks and stuff like that. We also sell on e-commerce and wholesale as well too.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
And then
other
what?
companies that we help get to market right away.
Nice. In terms of like, I know you mentioned rarity. Can you talk about some of the like the maybe like the special batches that you have that you sell?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say because I believe it's just all rare because if you think about
Mm,
it, within the like whatever 50-mile radius, who else is doing Filipino coffee, right?
yeah.
I think that's considered rare. I mean, in my definition, it's rare. And if you look at the world of coffee, right, like percentages of coffee, Arabic is like 60% of the world, Robustas are 40% of the world, Liberica and Excelsa are single digits. Like Excelsa is 7%, Liberica is 2%, and that's Barako. And
Mm.
if you mention that word, and when I started 8 years ago, all the Filipinos that had approached our table at the farmers market were like, "Do you have Barako? Do you have Barako? Do you have Barako?" I'm like, it took about like 5 years before that happened because
Oh
of
wow.
just the trade, right? Like it's not an ecosystem that was built, and
Yeah.
that's what we built now. We built that ecosystem that people can buy it now here in the U.S., whether it's
Mm.
green, roasted, a drink form, or whatever. We're just trying to fix the puzzle, right? That's it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to make it up to LA, man, to get to get a bag, and or maybe you have any plans on coming down the San Diego area, bringing a store down here, or what's the expansion
Well,
plan?
no, I mean, I mean, we're expanding to Long Beach. We have a potential in Carson, and we're also looking in San Francisco. And yeah, obviously San Diego is a potential, but it's because we have e-commerce platform, like people can buy it online, like via subscription or yeah, we offer a lot online too. And we're not when we say about coffee, right? Like how do you move more coffee? You create products that will move the coffee, right? So in the beginning of the
Hmm.
pandemic, the height of the pandemic, like everyone knows that we're in the frontline industry. I'm the black sheep. I went in engineering, and my rest of my family's in the front line. We're donating a lot of coffee travelers to Kaiser, other hospitals. So we're trying to, market that way too. But just getting, I mean, who isn't Filipino nurses that are out there, right? So, and we create products like around cars and coffee related stuff. Like we'll sell like coffee in a gas can that looks like very automotive grade. Yeah, so we just find things that are just like fun and that like our social, it just kind of flows. Like it could work in anything really, like baked goods.
Yeah.
So we just look for things like opportunities, we don't want to leave any money off the table. Like you can make a product of a product and a product of, you know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
how we see it. That's why we're a company. We're not just coffee, but we're a company. Because if
No.
I think
Mhm.
of it just as a coffee, then I'm not thinking about the whole island. And that's why we focus on all four species. We're thinking about them all, right? When you're thinking about we're creating jobs for people in the Philippines, we're also creating like roadways and logistics for our people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, before we transition to the next segment of our show, I just want to ask one last question that both of you guys can answer. I think it's a question that I think everyone can learn from. What is the one challenge that you experienced in building your company, and how did you come up from that? How did you how did you work through that obstacle and that challenge?
No obstacles. Just like that tagline, right? You guys had it in the first opening segments about
Right,
impossibility.
right.
I'm an engineer. I see everything as being possible. Like
Love it.
the dream is there, right? Like everyone likes to believe that they dream when they sleep. I'm living in the dream while I'm awake. Like
Love
my
it,
life
man.
has been like that. Like I don't have to do this. I do this for us. Like the people that came before us, if they could see where I'm at right now, like the my grandfathers and all that, I think they would slap me because I'm not living in that. But I don't think there's really obstacles. Like you put that in front of yourself, like the pandemic, I hopped over that. That was easy. Like I didn't see
Mm,
nothing with the pandemic. That's just a word.
yeah. No, I
So
got you. I got you. No.
and words mean a lot, you know. Words mean a lot, and that's why my vocabulary doesn't say like I can't do it or it's a problem. I use puzzles. I use
Mhm.
there's no problem, you know.
I love it, man. I love it. I used to always say and think, right, especially at least for me, my role model has been my dad, and I look at what he had to go through to just get us to where we got. And without the internet, without AI, without virtual assistants, without cell phones, for crying out loud, without the internet, you know what I mean? And it's
Dial
like,
up, man.
I
Uh,
mean, it's a shame to feel like you don't have the resources when everyone has all the resources at the tip of their fingers,
No
So
excuses.
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah. I
no.
mean, and it's the same thing, right? Like I can't live where I live if my farmers live where they live.
Mm.
Like that's where I'm like, man, that to me, like, should I be living the way that I live, knowing that they live like that? Like
Yeah.
Mm,
I know I have to do more so that they can eat more, they can live more. So this company that I started, I know I'm gonna do the biggest thing for them. I'm gonna bring them here, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna change that for our world. Trust me.
love it,
Ron,
man.
I'm curious, like, again, just the conviction that you have in your voice and just how you know everything's possible. Has your mindset always been that strong to know, hey, I'm just gonna overcome it? Or was there a moment in time that you like flipped the switch to be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this done?
Oh no, for sure. It's always been like that with me. It's just it took time and like maturity, right? 37.
Yeah.
A lot of things were going on. The company I was working for was gonna go under. I was like, oh crap! Like, am I gonna blame them or am I gonna own it? Like, I made the choice to join that company, and I have to make the choice for myself that I'm not gonna rely on anybody to put like food on my table. I'm gonna put food on my table, and it's like how Ruben had found exercising. Like, exercising has always been something to me, and it's like a by yourself thing no matter what. Yeah, you can have a trainer. Eventually that trainer will leave, and then you have to do it on your own. And
Hmm.
to be able to keep doing it every day, I think working out was the biggest motivation to like knowing that I could lift this much. That means I can do what I'm saying, and I could put that country on my back, and that's easy. That's lightweight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's
And
awesome.
that those
I've
are the
always
words. Those are the words that I say. Like because it is easy. There's nothing really hard in life. you make life hard. I mean, it's not. You make it hard. Like it's easy for me. It's easy.
I love it. I love it. I
Let's
love it.
go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, man. Well, Ron, man, I love your energy. I feel like working out right after this actually because I'm so pumped.
You better.
Um,
No,
yeah, man. Seriously, actually, it's I have to run today. I have to run 3 miles as part of my
You get
training
to
program.
run today.
I actually will do that. But please,
yeah.
you know, provide a takeaway for us that we can all take away after the show.
Yeah, I think I like to say is you know how that you know these phrases that people say, right? You gotta you have to believe it before you see it. It's not the other way around where you see it to believe it. It's the other way around. Your belief has to be higher than anything else. And it's exactly what Raina said, right? Your mindset has to be like titanium. Like you can't let anything penetrate that. People will, you know, you you put a business out there or whatever your idea is, if you're afraid to get that shot down, put it out there. Put it out there and prove it to people or don't prove it to yourself that you can actually, you know, get it done. And our three pillars at Teofilo's: authenticity, be yourself; uncomfortable work, get used to it. Everything's uncomfortable. And three, execute. Just do it. Don't ask. Because I know in the beginning when I started, I used to ask myself, like, am I doing the right thing? You know, in the beginning, but deep down in my heart, like I know my grandfather's name's on it. I can't give up. So I know what I'm doing is for our people. So there's no question what I do for the company and what I will do for the company.
Oh, man. I just like want to like
Are
just
you guys?
like
It's Fire Friday. Come on, let's go.
come
You guys are
on, man.
fired up in this. Let's
Seriously.
go, man.
Thank you. Oh, I energy, man. It's just a transfer of energy.
Right.
LFG. That's seriously. I really love it, you guys. And you know, I couldn't thank you. I couldn't thank you enough for being here. Until next week, everyone. Maraming salamat. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Happy Friday.
Filipino, 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 Filipino. Hoy, pare, pakinggan
Please